How many people were here in 2010? That is a pretty good number. So we were here in Walla Walla once before. We loved Walla Walla. We loved this hotel. We loved the reception everybody gave us 8 years ago, and so that's why we're back here again. It's not the first time we've repeated a conference location. This conference does move around, but this is not the first location that we've repeated because we've been in Santa Rosa 3 times. We started this back in 2008, and we did it again the same place the following year. And then we also were there last year, immediately after the fires, for our 10th anniversary. So it was a big event, and it was an emotional event too, I would say, especially for the people that were in that area and lived through the big fires that happened right before the conference. There were some questions when the fires were happening whether we were going to hold the 10th annual Wine Bloggers Conference. But it was never really much of a question. The people that were there local said, definitely, you need to make sure you don't cancel this conference and have your whole group not attend. We have been in Charlottesville, Virginia in 2011. We've been in Portland, Oregon in 2012. Penticton, British Columbia in 2013. How many people were in Penticton? Great small town, right? A little bit like Walla Walla. In fact, it's just sort of straight up north from here in the same sort of climate as Walla Walla is. 2014, we were in Santa Barbara County, California. 2015, we were in the Finger Lakes, New York. Also a great little small wine town. How many people were in the Finger Lakes? A lot of people. And then in 2016, we were in Lodi, California. How many people have been ever to Lodi, California? Great little town. It's a little sleepy still, right? They need a hotel like this in their downtown to help kick things off. If anybody's a big investor, that would be a good idea.
Yeah, hotels suck.
Some details for all of you. The Wi-Fi network is Wine Bloggers Conference. And you access it. I'm trying to get that to start music. No. Password WineBC18. So I'll leave that up just a second. Text updates. I think most of you are receiving the text updates. Those come from Sarah, who's sitting out at the registration desk. We don't send those to you that often. We really only are going to send them to you this weekend, so you don't have to worry about us texting you. Hey, have you signed up for Australia yet? We don't do that. We're only going to use it for updating you this weekend. So if you haven't signed up to receive those, that's how you do it. And here are some other details for you. On Twitter, our hashtag is WBC18. Not 2018, WBC18. Those are our 2 handles, the Wine Bloggers Conference and Zephyr Conferences, and we use both throughout the weekend. And I think most of you saw that we created lists on Twitter. So if you would like to follow all your fellow attendees, you can look up WBC18 attendees on Twitter, and you can look up WBC18 sponsors to follow as many as you want, and hopefully they'll follow you too, so everyone can walk out of this room at the first break and have a bunch of new Twitter followers. On Twitter, we do have a goal, because we've achieved this in the past, which is to trend in the top 10 worldwide on Twitter. And we often do this at the Wine Bloggers Conference. And just to give you a little incentive, we also did it at our Beer Bloggers Conference in August in Virginia. And so we only did it once there. And if we can beat them and trend a couple of times in here, that would be great. Live wine blogging is where we tend to trend. And I'll talk a little bit more about that. That's an excellent opportunity for that. Following everybody is a great way to keep it going. We will put up Twitter fall screens at times, so that will be showing your tweets live, which gives people great incentive to tweet because they like to see their own tweets on the screen. Friday excursions. These are the mystery excursions where you don't know where you're going, you're not necessarily with your friends. It's a great opportunity to use Twitter to tell everybody else what you're doing and where you've been, because nobody knows where they're going until you start tweeting to each other and letting your friends know. And then on Saturday dinner, we're actually going to be offering prizes for people that provide us with the most interesting tweets, the most whatever we decide tweets. We'll be letting you know about that later. That's Twitter. On Facebook, it's the same hashtag. We have a Facebook page. We have a Zephyr Conferences page. If you are not in the Facebook group, that's another excellent way to stay informed. So this is a group that's closed group, private group, only for attendees this year and our alumni from previous years. And so there's a lot of activity on there already. That's mostly for all of you. In fact, we tend to not answer questions unless they're directed at us, because we let all of you answer each other's questions if that's possible. But it's really for you to do that and stay updated both this weekend and for the future as well. A little bit about us. So yes, Zephyr Conferences is the organizer of this conference. We run 5 conferences a year. We run this conference, the Beer Bloggers Conference, the International Food Blogger Conference. So we do 3 blogging conferences. We also run the Wine Marketing and Tourism Conference and the Beer Marketing and Tourism Conference. So everything we do is in beer, wine, and food. We do this because we also run Zephyr Adventures. That has been going on for 22 years, and we run tours around the world. How many people in this room have ever rollerbladed? Inline skated? Quite a few, right? How many have done it in 2018? Was that a hand raise? No, he was scratching his head. None of you, right? I have, but I started Zephyr Adventures as Zephyr Inline Skating Tours, the world's first rollerblading tour company. It was highly successful for 2 years, and then everything crashed. Luckily, we had already expanded to do other things. So now we do things like bicycle in Italy, and we hike on the Inca Trail, and do things like that. But we also run tours in wine areas around the world, and that's what got us into the Wine Bloggers Conference 11 years ago. And now, just so you know, we also run a company called Taste Vacations, which runs wine, beer, and food tours around the world without the activity, without the biking and hiking. About us, meaning about us. We've got 57 sponsors and partners here this weekend, entertaining all of you. We've got 225 attendees. We have 27 states and provinces represented. And we've got 7 countries represented in this room too, which I think is pretty great. All told, not counting actually the new people this year, so for the first 10 years we have 1,769 alumni. And separate from that is a different list that we keep, which are our 1,353 active citizen, we call them, wine bloggers. So those are not wine bloggers that are connected to a company, and they're also not wine bloggers who are not active, because we do go through that list every year or two and we update it. We don't update it that often, so if you send us an update and say, hey, I need to update my blog, we'll say, we will update your blog on our list immediately. It won't always update onto the printed list because it's not live, but those are active citizen wine bloggers, and so if you are a wine blogger sitting in this room, you have a lot of company around the world, and it's anybody that tells you blogging is dead, it's not dead for sure. We know that because we're all sitting in this room, but also because of that number right there. We have 5 people in the room, myself and 4 others who have attended every single wine blogger conference. So if Craig, Janelle, Joe, and Thea can stand up right now. Are you in here yet? There's Joe. There's Janelle. Okay, so the other 2 are not here. They were probably out late last night. But yes, we appreciate that they all 4 have been every single year. It is a feat, and they should be congratulated. I just wanted to go over a little bit of the agenda. We don't normally do this. We sort of rely on you to look at the agenda. I'm not going to tell you all the times. I just wanted to give you a brief overview. Intro to the Walla Walla Valley is next, immediately after this. We then have a quick break. You all have seen the expo out there. That will be going on the breaks all day long. We then have a session that we've never done before that will be talking about wine bloggers, wine writers, and wine influencers. Things are changing in our world, and it's not just about blogging anymore, as everybody knows. We then will have lunch in this room with the buffet tables right out there, courtesy of the Cascade Valley Wine Country. And then we move into wine discovery sessions. So wine discovery sessions are just like regular content sessions, but they include wine tasting. You do not need to have signed up for those, and there's no cost. You just have to choose. There are 2 options each time we run that. And we'll tell you about those in advance as we move through the day. We then have our keynote speaker, Louis Perdue, and we go right into live red wine blogging. Everybody who's been to our conference before has done live red wine blogging. It's essentially speed dating with wine. You will all be here. We will have 25 wineries come in. They'll be at these tables. They each have 5 minutes to pour wine and allow you and tell their story, and then allow you to taste and to evaluate and to write about that wine. It's called live because some of you will actually write blog posts and post them on the spot. A lot of times, people will do it and do one summary post of the 10 wines they take. If you're heroic, you'll try and do 10 posts of 10 wines. But there's also obviously a lot of social media coverage too. You know, we sometimes get people saying, well, that's not the greatest format for tasting a wine or presenting a wine. We like it.
We love it. We love it.
We like it, and here's why. I think it's an awesome opportunity for wineries to perfect their elevator pitch. They've got 5 minutes, and they really only have 2 minutes because they need to give you time to ask questions and to write and to taste and evaluate. And it's also a fantastic opportunity for all of you to perfect your ability to taste, evaluate, and write about a wine in a short amount of time. So it's super fun, it's super loud, and we will do it this afternoon. We then go into the wine country dinner excursions. So these are the mystery excursions. There's Thea. Let's give her a round of applause. Standing. You missed your curtain call already, so. Yeah, well, that's worth it. So these wine country dinner excursions are the mystery excursions. You will not know where you're going. If you want to go on those, and there's no cost, and most people do go, you need to grab one of the colored tickets from our registration table. Put them in the back of your badge so that you can remember where you're going to go. You will then go to the lobby and be there at 5:15 and meet your person holding a placard with your color. And then you'll go with them and you'll find out when you get there where you're going. And then you can tweet your friends and tell them where you are. If you want to change where you're going, which you really don't because you don't know where you're going anyway, but maybe you have a friend who has a different color, well, you can go swap with anybody else if you'd like to. The only color you really need to know about is the blue one, which is seafood dinner, so if you don't like seafood, don't take it. Oh, look at that. I think I just told you all of that. I'm way ahead of myself. Agenda for tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, we have 2 Australians that will be here. One's already here. Linda's sitting at the front table, telling all of you about WBC 19, which will be in the Hunter Valley in New South Wales in Australia. And we are all set to provide you with your online registration opportunity tomorrow when we officially announce that, which you all know about anyway. We then move into breakout sessions. You don't have to sign up for breakout sessions. You can go to any you want. There are 3 at a time. You just have to choose. And we'll be doing 3 hours worth tomorrow. We then do lunch with Visit Walla Walla. Visit Walla Walla has arranged the lunch with different tasting rooms, and I'll tell you about that in just a second. The wine discovery sessions are again in the afternoon. Those are the ones that are free, and you do not have to sign up. You just have to pick. And then we come back into here and we do a session with Cheeses of Europe, which is one of our big sponsors here. We then have 8 of you who have courageously volunteered to come up on stage and have 5 minutes each to tell some aspect of what you're doing in this world of ours. And lightning talks are the same as Ignite, if anybody's seen that. It basically means that you have 20 slides, 15 slides at 20 seconds a slide, and they auto-rotate forward, so you have to keep up with your own presentation. That will be tomorrow afternoon. We then finish with the live white and rosé blogging, and then we have dinner in this room. Everybody is invited, of course, to dinner, and if you've got a little blue tag in your registration badge, you should put it on your plate at dinner tomorrow night. That's an eating restriction. The staff will then come in and see it and take care of you. And this is the lunch for tomorrow, because you do have to sign up for this. There are 16 tasting rooms involved with tomorrow's lunch. You need to sign up at the Visit Walla Walla table. So when we have the next break, go out there, sign up. Just sign up for one of them. That winery tasting room they'll be giving you a ticket with the address. Are you doing the ticket with the address? Yeah, you'll get a ticket with the address. They will be giving you a free lunch and tasting. And then if you would like, you can wander around Walla Walla and go to the other tasting rooms. If you flash your badge, they might or might not give you free tastings at the other ones, because they certainly know what's going on, but they only committed to giving you the lunch and tasting where you signed up to go, because they will have your list and your lunch will be there. So you've got to walk to go get your lunch tomorrow afternoon. I just want to talk a little bit about your price and the value of this conference. Those of you who are citizen bloggers or social media influencers or writers paid between $95 and $195 for this whenever you did sign up. It impacted the price. It includes 2 lunches and 2 dinners. And it includes a ton of wine and all the content. So we think it's a good deal. In fact, it's kind of a steal, right? And so the only way we really can do it is with our sponsors, right? And so the reality is, all of you, when there's sort of a written, unwritten contract going on here, right? The written part is that when you register for the conference, it says, we would really like you to write at least 3 blog posts and post a bunch on social media in return for the $300 discount you get for saying you're a citizen blogger or a social media influencer or a wine writer. And then all of you say, okay, that sounds good. And then nobody follows up on it. So I'm following up on it right now. Because basically, the sponsors are not really coming here solely out of the goodness of their hearts, even though their hearts are good, right? They're coming here because they want to meet all of you, and they want to make relationships with all of you, and we stress to them that immediate payback is not why they should be here. They should be here to meet you and to make relationships so that in the future you can get together with them, either in person or digitally, and benefit. And you all need content anyway. And so for all of you who are writing, it makes a ton of sense to pay attention to what's going on. And ultimately, the sponsors are not going to come back. And Visit Walla Walla is not going to sponsor again 8 years from now. And more importantly, when I go out every year and I look for the next year's location and we look for support to bring it there, and we always, by the way, ask for 2 dinners before we even show up. Before we even guarantee we're coming to a location, we've already got 2 dinners secured so that all of you can eat as part of your ticket price. The locations are now asking me for references for previous locations. And so if they do, and I give them Ron's name over there, and you all haven't shown him a lot of love, he's going to not give good recommendations to the next place that calls him up and asks. So it is the reality of the situation. It's an unwritten contract. It's sort of what the difference is between blogging and writing. You're not getting paid for the writing. You're kind of getting paid in other ways. We'll talk about that a little bit later in the next session. Let's try it. Right now, there's Ron, right over there. He is the executive director of Visit Walla Walla. Visit Walla Walla is the organization, and when I say organization, it really wasn't the organization. It was Ron. He made the call himself and said, I will make this happen. Let's bring this to Walla Walla. So their hashtag is Walla Walla, and their handle is Visit Walla Walla. So my suggestion is, let's thank him right now by everyone pulling your cell phones out or your iPads or your computers, and hopefully somebody on his staff is paying attention right now, and they can forward it to their board of directors so that Ron goes to his next monthly board meeting and they all say, hey, look at that. These guys just started the conference and look at what they're doing already. That's how it works, everybody. Facebook Live. I just wanted to talk about this for a second. Things have changed. All of you are obviously using social media, and Facebook Live is a big deal. You can Facebook Live anything. You can Facebook Live yourself as you're talking to your camera, right? You can Facebook Live the person pouring you the wine out there. You can Facebook Live me as I'm talking about Facebook Live. You can do anything you want. So, just another opportunity for you to get involved in this whole thing. Here are our grand sponsors. I can't list all 57 of them or however many I put up on the slide, but these are some big ones. How many people went to Cataretta last night? Good, right? Woo! Cascade Valley Wine Country is putting on our lunch today. Cheeses of Europe will be doing a session this afternoon. Gloria Ferrer, Lugana, Lan, Rias Baixas are all doing discovery sessions today and tomorrow. Walla Walla Valley Wine Alliance is really the partner with Visit Walla Walla. That's the winery association here, and they are sort of our secondary main partner, and they've done a lot, including they are organizing all the 8 mystery dinner excursions tonight. And Main Street Drivers will be doing a post-con excursion tomorrow. This is for all of you. Tips for succeeding at the Wine Bloggers Conference. Taste responsibly. Spitting and dumping is the in thing here. Be on time. We already talked about that. We will be starting on time. But, we also leave on time. So that means if you're not where you're kind of supposed to be at 5:15 this afternoon, we might wait for 5 minutes. But if you're there at 5:25, you might miss your dinner today. No perfume or cologne. That's kind of a courtesy when people are wine tasting. Meet new people. How many people have never been to the Wine Bloggers Conference before? A good chunk, right? And so that's fantastic. It's sort of incumbent on all of you to go meet other people. And so if in your post-conference survey you write, it was very difficult to meet other people, I'm calling you out on that right now. Because it's super easy to meet other people at a Wine Bloggers Conference where everybody's drinking wine. But for those of you who've been here before and everybody else, when someone comes up to you and says, hey, my name's so-and-so, where are you from? Be friendly to those people. And obviously you're all going to be friendly. I don't have to tell you to be friendly unless you're from New York and New Jersey. Kidding. I live in New York now. It's the inside joke. No, I don't have to tell you to be friendly, but what I'm telling you is, hey, include those people. Maybe you have been to 11 wine blogger conferences, and maybe you know a lot of people in the room. Include them, invite them along. Say, hey, which one are you going to of these discovery sessions? You know what I'm talking about. Be friendly and be inclusive. It's a big club, really, is what this is. And everybody has a good time, in part because we do a lot of education, in part because we do a lot of wine tasting, in part because we're here for a new location, but in part because it's a lot of bonding and networking and fun. Take notes and ask questions. The big difference in this conference, and we hear over and over and over again from our sponsors, if we hear one thing more than anything else, it's that, wow, those people are awesome. They are not like the consumers we normally talk to, because they are asking better questions, and they're taking notes, and they're photographing the wine bottles, and these sponsors who pour for you out here and in the evenings are loving that, because all of you are professionals, and so it's a great thing. And when you're doing that, they're all thinking, oh, this is a worthy endeavor that we're doing. So that's all I have to start out, and so I'm going to invite Ron Williams, who's the executive director of Visit Walla Walla, and he, by the way, in addition to having done a lot of things in Walla Walla, like running the Shakespeare Festival, he was a manager at a winery in Walla Walla 8 years ago, and one of the reasons that he said, I want you to come back, is because 8 years ago he had a great time here and his winery had a lot of great exposure. So let's give Ron a round of applause for helping bring the story.
Thanks, Alan. Good morning, everybody. You all look very bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. I hope to see you looking just as bright-eyed tomorrow morning. Great response. But have fun. Hey, it really is a pleasure to have you all back here. And it's true that 8 years ago, when I was the general manager at Waterbrook Winery, we got to participate in the conference, and I just thought it was fantastic. It was a great group of people. They had a lot of fun. Precept Wine Brands, which is one of the larger wine companies in the state of Washington, had purchased Waterbrook, and they had also purchased at the time Charles Smith's two wines, the house wines, the house red and the house white, those black and white labels with the sort of chalk drawing, kids drawing of a house on it. You've seen them in Costco, etc. And so they sent me down to the live blogging to represent those two brands, and I had about 5 minutes to study up on the Charles Smith wines, but what a blast. It was so much fun. It didn't really matter what I said, I don't think. It just was, everybody was so excited to be there, and we had such a good time. So I think you're in for a great experience. I'm really so happy to see so many of you here. I want to make a couple of introductions before we get to our panel discussion, and Alan briefly touched on the fact that the Walla Walla Wine Alliance is our partner in this, and that's true in every sense of the word. And so I'd just like you to know who they are, because they're going to be your best friends here at the conference. And so I just, if Ashley, Mahan, and Liz, will you stand up? So we have our COO. And our, are you marketing manager? What's your title, marketing manager? Anyway, Liz and Ashley, and you'll also be Shelby when she's here. My cohort, his name is Dalen Gibbard, and he is out at the table taking your signups for those lunches. So you'll meet Dalen as well. We'll be around all weekend. We're here to help you. We are well acquainted with the Valley, all of us, and if you run into any needs of any kind, just let us know. We will be happy to take care of it. We have also sponsored in a few people at the conference as part of our sponsorship deal. We got to bring some people in, and I want you to meet one of them, and she's sitting right here at this table. Valerie, stand up.
So far, 14 people have died because of Walla Walla.
Thank you, that's appreciate it. Valerie is a really great writer. We met at a writers' conference in Yakima, and I was just very impressed with her and what she's doing with her writing and blogging, etc. So we asked her to come and join the conference and just to have a really good time. But we've also handed over our Instagram feed to her. Did we give you Twitter?
Just Instagram.
Just Instagram. Okay, well, we don't trust her with Twitter, apparently. Don't feel bad. They don't trust me with Twitter either. Before we get right to it, just a few words about the panel today. Thank you for those of you who submitted a list of questions. We have them up here. We'll try to get to them. We tried to assemble a panel. I know we assembled a panel of 4 women who I think are extraordinary in what they're doing in the wine business in the Walla Walla Valley, and I believe very representative of what the Valley is all about. We had a conversation about this a little bit earlier, and I was thinking about the questions you submitted. And then I was also thinking about what I would want to know if I were sitting in your seat. And as a PR marketing guy, I think always about what is the angle that the writer, the journalist, the blogger, the influencer is looking for. And I think that you want to come and learn everything you can about the Walla Walla Valley, about the wine, the grapes, the region, the terroir, all of the things that go into making great wine. But the number one element that goes into the success of a winery, and certainly the success of this valley, are the people who have the tremendous courage to take on the business. And I say courage because it's a really hard business. How many of you have made wine before? Yeah. Let me just tell you, I did it for 3 days to help some friends 10 years ago. Never again. I was think about this morning. Let's just say that grapes are coming in this morning. What's the temperature outside? 40?
Cold.
And you're on the crush pad as those grapes come in, and you are getting ready to process those grapes. And by 8 o'clock, you've done 2 tons. You are wet. You are cold. You are outside, and you are going to stay in that condition nonstop until every pound of grapes has been processed. And that might be 1 ton of grapes, and that might be 10 tons of grapes. That has nothing to do with anybody but nature about when those grapes are going to come in, and the vineyard managers and the winemakers who decide when the fruit is where they want it. And no matter what that amount of fruit is, you're going to do it. It's all hands on deck. It's tough, it's cold, it's miserable. I don't know why you would want to do it, but for some reason these people are compelled to do it. So if I were sitting in your seat, the questions that I would ask today is what compels you? What compels you to do this madness? Why did you choose Walla Walla? What is it about this place that separates it from every other place? Because these, several of these ladies have gone to other places, and this is where they've landed. This is where they chose. So those are the questions I'm looking for. Those are the questions I'm going to pose. And I think that those are the stories that if I were in your shoes, I would be really interested in. That doesn't mean we can't get to the technical aspects of winemaking, but really the personality of the wine is in the personality of these four people who you're going to meet in just a moment. So that's what I encourage. I'll be taking questions from the audience and moderating this, and I'll be out there getting at what it is you want to ask, and they may ask you some questions as well. So this is a back and forth, very casual, open dialogue. Don't be afraid to ask a question. Lastly, I'm not really interested in spite of the fact that we are definitely celebrating the women winemakers and the women in wine of the Walla Walla Valley. That's not so interesting to me. I think that the question of, what's different about being a woman in the wine industry, maybe there's something to that, but I'm not sure that that's the heart of it. And the reason I say that is I think that they would say that. I'm speaking as a gay man who has been asked throughout my career, well, what's it like to be a gay man working as a CEO in tourism? And I'm like, well, it's pretty much just like being a straight man working.
Yeah, exactly.
Except I'm better at it. So let's get at what's real today, and this is your one opportunity, in a session, I think, to really dive into that. So without further ado, and I will shut up, I'd like to welcome our panel to the stage, and so ladies, please come up, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves. Any handle mics? Yep, I can.
Opening session. Session. Session.